Yeah, I haven't. Just got the keyboard hang, so it's so much bigger. I haven't used it, so I don't want to put it in. That's kind of why I just left it at work. Yeah. Until we get the colors. So I haven't. I've turned this in. Start messing with my keyboard.
I made so many mistakes.
Hard time. Sometimes it's better to print it out. Sure, yeah. I'm going to go with electronic first. I do it packet by packet. I want to print it out. Thank you. Yeah. I'm going to go with electronic for now, but sometimes it's useful that I can highlight stuff and save it.
Yes.
I'll just click on it. Yes, just this one. This one does. Oh, does it? So you can still look at that. Let's go back to that. Yeah, because the first few months, I did the same thing and then it stopped.
I did. I realized I have that on here, but I also downloaded it to my phone.
Good evening and welcome to the Creswell City Council meeting, January 13, 2025. Would you please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all for coming out tonight. This is the first meeting of the new year, so you will get to meet the new councilors who will be sworn in tonight and our new mayor. We also have seated here on the far end Spencer Niebel, who is our interim city manager, and we're very excited to have you with us.
Glad to be here.
Thank you very much. So at this time, I would like to call our judge, the Honorable R. Scott Palmer, if he would come forward, and then I would like to have Mark Creamer and Joan Morris and Clark Kent, if you would step down front, and Nicholas Smith, if you would step down front. This will be the swearing of our new council members.
Actually, we're going to do it a little bit differently. If you'd resume a seat, you'll be called up at one at a time, but Mr. Kent, you're up first. I've got some family as well. That's fine. Do you need to wait for your family? Okay, wait a second. Now, you're going to line up over there. Over here. Yes, I've got a few opening remarks.
Not yet.
Welcome to Mayor Stram. I get to say that for the last time. I hope you played golf well today. Welcome to the old city councilors. Welcome to the new city councilors. Welcome to friends, family, and citizens of Creswell, and in particular to those of you who have just decided you're in the wrong place. I would ask that in respect, as a sign of respect for the proceedings we're going to conduct, please remove your hats. And secondly, please put your cell phones on vibrate. Thank you. The ceremony that we're about to perform, administering the oath of office, is auspicious. It marks the beginning of service for new city councilors and for a new mayor. It's both a time of beginning and a time of renewal. We've had quite a year in 2024 and face another in 2025. We are being tested whether a government of the people, by the people, and for the people will long endure. I think that we are blessed here in the city of Creswell with what I think are truly the best of times. There is energy and optimism here at the local level, and it permeates our public business and temperament. Thanks to all the folks who serve the city and its citizens. So let us renew today our appreciation, our reverence, and our thirst for the most basic principles that are the foundation of our body politic: freedom, justice, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Through our elected and appointed officials, let us carry on and accomplish the necessary and important business of the city of Creswell. Now down to business. Please hold your applause till I'm done and give you the high sign. First up, Councilor Clark Kent. You have family members?
Yes.
Okay. We're going to line you right up here.
Okay.
Family members can stand next to you, and you've brought a family Bible, so that's going to be important in the ceremony. Have a seat, stand right over there. Okay. Mr. Kent, are you ready for this?
Yes.
Please
sir.
raise your right hand, put your left on the family Bible, and repeat after me. I,
I,
state your name,
Clark Kent,
swear or affirm under penalty of perjury
swear or affirm under penalty of perjury
that I promise
that I promise
that I will perform my duties
that I will perform my duties
in good faith,
in good faith,
openly,
openly,
honestly,
honestly,
and civilly.
and civilly.
I promise that to the best of my ability,
I promise that to the best of my ability,
that I will always seek to do
that I will always seek to do
what is in the best interest of the community,
what is in the best interests of the community,
and not just that
and not just that
which will benefit me personally.
which will benefit me personally.
I also promise
I also promise
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the State of Oregon,
the Constitution of the State of Oregon,
and the Home Rule Charter of the City of Creswell.
and the Home Rule Charter of the City of Creswell.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Very good. If we could have you step aside now for a moment, we'll bring up our next city councilor,
Thank you, Your Honor.
Joan Morris. Right here, and if you have family, that's fine too. If you don't have, come up and join. This is going to be a family affair for the next 4 years. So. Very good. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Joan Morris, excuse me,
Her too, Joan Morris,
swear or affirm
swear or affirm
under penalty of perjury
under penalty of perjury
that I promise
that I promise
that I will perform my duties
that I will perform my duties
in good
in
faith,
good faith,
openly,
openly,
honestly,
honestly,
and civilly.
and civilly.
I promise
I promise
that to the best of my ability,
that to the best of my ability,
that I will always seek to do
that I will always seek to do
what is in the best interest of the community,
what is in the best interest of the community,
and not just that
and not just that,
which will benefit me personally.
which will benefit me personally.
I also promise
I also promise
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the State of Oregon,
the Constitution of the State of Oregon,
and the Home Rule Charter of the City of
and
Creswell.
the Home Rule Charter of the City of Creswell.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you. Now you may join Councilor Kent. Thank you, family members. Next up, Bart Kremer. Okay. Yes, raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name,
I, Mark A. Kramer,
swear or affirm
swear or affirm
under penalty of perjury
under penalty of perjury,
that I promise
I promise
that I will perform my duties
I will perform my duties
in good faith,
in good faith,
openly,
openly,
honestly,
honestly,
and civilly.
and civilly.
I promise
I promise,
that to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
that I will always seek to do
I will always seek to do
what is in the best interest of the community,
what is in the best interest of the community,
and not just that
and not just that
which will benefit me personally.
will benefit me personally.
I also promise
I also promise
that I will support and defend
I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the State of Oregon,
the Constitution of the State of Oregon,
and the Home Rule Charter of the City of Creswell.
and the Home Rule Charter of the City of Creswell.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you very much.
Thank
You join your fellow councilors. Mayor-elect Nicholas Smith, please. And family members, have they arrived yet?
Wife's got all the kids, so.
Okay. Can we borrow somebody to hold the Bible? Thank you, Shelley.
Wait, they're coming in the door.
They're coming in the door. They're like up,
Okay,
they're up the stairs.
we'll wait until they get upstairs.
Sorry, not to interrupt, but
Yeah, okay.
they're on their way.
Sort of style is how they get attention, you know.
That's all right.
Hey, mother of three,
Right, yeah.
it's tough to.
Anybody know any jokes?
They're right here. They're right here.
Been sick for 3 weeks.
Fashionably late.
Right on
Come
time.
on, boys.
Come on in. Oh my gosh, that's funny.
Boys,
Come on, guys, come on up. Excellent.
you just hold it right now. Stand behind me.
Mrs. Smith, will you hold the Bible, please? Perfect. Okay. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. Excellent. And you feel free, if you don't want to drop her, she's precious. Please repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Nicholas Smith,
Swear or affirm under penalty of perjury
swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury
that I promise
that I promise
that I will perform my
that
duties
I will perform my duties
in good faith,
in good faith,
openly,
openly,
honestly,
honestly,
and civilly.
civilly.
I promise
I promise,
that to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
that I will always seek to do
that I will always seek to do
what is in the best interest of the community,
what is in the best interest of the community,
and not just that
and not just that,
which will benefit me
which
personally.
will benefit me personally.
I also promise
I also promise
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the State of Oregon,
the Constitution of the State of Oregon,
and the Home Rule Charter of the City of
and
Creswell.
the Home Rule Charter of the City of Creswell.
So help me God.
So help me God.
So if I could bring the counselors up now. You all can stay put for a second, for sure. Line up here. Now, congratulations to all of you. You've undertaken a great public service. There will be challenges, but I'm sure that you all will be up to it because you're doing the right thing. That's the important thing. And since this may be the last time that these new officials may hear this, please stand and join me in giving them a rousing round of applause. Do we need any more time for photos?
If the families want it, we can also do it a little later. It's totally up to them.
Okay, we'll either do it before or now. You've got a pretty full
Might be
agenda.
us, if we could do us real quick.
Sure, go right ahead.
In case they get restless.
I gotcha. All right.
We need a little time to switch nameplates around, so take your time on the pictures.
Yes. Do you guys need any help with anything?
Am I remaining? Just the shoes.
You've got little.
Where's your name tag? Oh, right here. Absolutely.
Just stand in front of me.
Don't stand there when you're going.
I love it. You take care.
Behind you guys.
Is he driving already? No.
Okay, Heather, here, come in closer.
Say cheese, please. All right.
And then I'm going to do another one. Say, Mayor. Mayor. There we go. And I'll send these to you guys too. Yeah. Love you. You guys want a picture too? Yes. Let's get that going. All right. Say cheese. Have a good night, City Council. See you soon. Maybe sooner than you want. It's a big day. It's a good day to be cheesy. Of course.
You're gonna be. I think they're left. Yeah, you're right.
Can't be worse. I hear you.
That's fair.
Mini sledge, that's all they have.
That's a nice,
That's true.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. I do it all myself.
Make it, I can just send you a picture.
Come to order again. Mayor Smith, since my task here is complete, good luck
Thanks, sir.
and Godspeed. Thank you.
I'll take it.
Oh, yes. This one, this one.
Yes.
Get to business. If you go to speaker, just turn your speaker on. If you forget, nobody's going to continue. Yeah. Welcome to the club.
I don't like my arm in that one.
Took like 30 pictures of it.
Everybody comfy? All right, let's begin. Every year at this time, we elect a council president, and what that council president does is fill in. If I'm not here, he can fill in my seat and run the meetings. He's also an advisor to other councilors, and he also helps with the agenda. And at this time, I would like to accept nominations for council president. Councilor Kent?
I would like to nominate Councilor Alonso Castilla for another term.
Do I have any other nominations? There it is. Can I get a second on the nomination? Councilor Holt seconds the nomination. All those in favor of Councilor Alonso Castilla as council president, please raise your hand. All those in favor, same sign. We have a new council president, that's the same as the old. Congratulations, sir, well deserved.
Thank you, councilors.
All right, now we're going on to recognition of our mayors and councilors and committee members, planning commission and airport commission. If though Dave and Shelley and Norma Jean could come to the front, as well as the planning commission and airport commissioner that's stepping down.
You betcha.
Nice.
Thank you.
Nicer than the last ones I passed out. Good job, Caitlin. All right, so I'm just gonna grab first award and read the name, and this says, "Making a Difference," an award to Dave Stram in grateful appreciation and distinguished recognition of the hard work, dedication, and committed to excellence, City of Creswell Mayor, 2021, 2024, but we all know he's had to serve a couple other terms in between that time, and we appreciate Dave and sacrifices you've made with your wife and the amount of time that you have to open yourself up to sit here and to run for mayor. It's a lot, and for you to commit to that and be willing to open yourself up and be so dedicated to the city, we appreciate it. Thanks, sir. This one's to Norma Jean. Grateful appreciation and distinguished recognition of your hard work and dedication as a city councilor for the last 2 years. We appreciate you opening yourself up and to be scrutinized and praised all at the same time, and committed service to your city. So thank you very much. Another distinguished award to Shelley Clark. Her detail is unparalleled to any other, and her commitment to this city is unparalleled as well. And all the committees that she served on, there was many, and we appreciate everything you've done for us, and we hope to fill your shoes as best we can. Dedication and excellence, grateful appreciation and distinguished service to Planning Commissioner Seth Clark, business owner, friend to Creswell. Open up yourself and with the business, and to open up all that and be committed to your community is important, and you've really shown that the small town can continue to thrive with that same aspect of the thought process of owning a business and trying to run a business, and then also be part of your community. And again, it's all for free. So all you're trying to do is the best job you can for your community, which Seth has been doing this for just under 10 years. It's quite a long time, but it's a lot of service. I appreciate that. Thank you. Secret Service to Jim Origlioso. Is it close?
Perfect.
I practiced. I really did. Ask Dave. I practiced. Serve as the airport commissioner. Hi, baby. Service for over 7 years as an airport commissioner. It's not as easy as it looks. Shelley does a great job, but there's always something going on. And your committed service to the community to get the airport going, and to be a team with some of the other committee members and Shelley to keep the airport thriving and honestly becoming one of the best small airports around, and the continued success. So thank you for all that you've done. So again, congratulations, and thank you all for what you've done. I can't say it enough. I know the sacrifice, I'm in the middle of it. I'm going to continue myself, but it really does mean a lot. It is a lot, and I know all the commitment that you guys have given. So thank you all from the city of Creswell. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'll need it. Thanks for all you've done.
All right. Next up, we have the public forum. I do have one person who would like to speak. That person is allowed 3 minutes. And please step up to the podium, state your name. Ryan LaRue.
Hi, I'm new to this. I've never been to a city council meeting. But yeah, my name is Ryan LaRue. I live here on 10th Street, and I'm here to address the city council for a public safety concern of mine. I'm a father of 2 small children. I'm a graduate from Oregon State University in construction engineering management. A race enthusiast and truck mechanic. I've been around high performance vehicles my entire life, and I know what the difference between 20 miles an hour and 50 miles an hour is. I'm here, let's see, I just said that. There are a lot of vulnerable people who walk our streets every day. Elderly people walk their dogs, or children outside playing in yards, or walking to school. And there seems to be always people in a hurry up and down 10th Street, Meadow Lane, and A Street, adjacent to the elementary school. I've witnessed on a daily basis people failing to stop at the stop sign at where A Street meets Meadow Lane and 10th Street. Blow right through it at 30, 40 miles an hour because they got to get home for no, even though it's not that really long, or high schoolers racing home during the lunch break, literally third, fourth gear down the street, lock the wheels up, skid to stop, blow the stop sign, get on Oregon Avenue because you got to get to the burger shack or whatever. Talking to my neighbors who also have lived on the street for many years longer than I have, they have said this has been a chronic issue, extending way longer than my 3 years of residence here in Creswell, and seems like it's never been addressed or been a concern. I've reached out to the Lane County Sheriff's Office about it multiple times, and it seems to not really be a concern of theirs either. So I'm here to ask you guys what you're going to do about it, and I have some suggestions. My education at OSU included traffic design and safety as well as control. And all the PhD professors I studied under have all said that things like speed bumps, traffic control devices like roundabouts, and even street designs really curb speeding, really actually slow people down a lot. So my recommendations would be to put speed bumps in school zones, because there's no reason why people need to be doing more than 20 miles an hour during school day. So I'm also asking for Lane County Sheriff's Office to step up and actually patrol the streets, stop the people blowing through stop signs and pulling people over and ticketing speeders. I will say my household has been pulled over and ticketed for that. Just bad morning, so I'm not up here to say that I'm not perfect, because we have certainly learned our lesson. But if Lane County Sheriff's Office cannot get it done, could we maybe look at seeing if the city of Eugene or Springfield could loan out their motorcycle traffic patrol? That's really all I have to say.
Thanks, Ryan, I appreciate it. Sheriff Spelgers is in the office today in the room, so I think A Street and 10th, I'm sure that's something he can take a look at, see if we can't help out, do something about, and we'll please follow up with us. All right, next we have the mayor report, which is my report, and it's lengthy. Every year, the mayor appoints committees and councilor committees and also citizen committees with council liaisons, and at this time, I'm going to read those appointments. And again, they need to be read out loud, so bear with me a little bit. For Council Committee, Administration and Finance, the charge at the first meeting, select a secretary who will keep the minutes of all meetings and submit them to the city recorder. B, review the performance evaluation process at a timeline with the city council at the February work session. C is to conduct the annual performance evaluations for city manager, municipal judge, and the city attorney. Timeline, we're going to review the performance evaluation process at the timeline at the February work session. Conduct all performance evaluations according to the timeline adopted to the city council, provided monthly reports at council work session appointees. The chair is Alonzo Castilla. Councilors are Stacy Holt and Joan Morris. With staff support as city manager Spencer and finance director Jim Piper. We're going to have next would be the transportation and public works. First charge at the meeting, select a secretary who will keep minutes of all meetings and submit them to the city recorder. B is serve on the water rate advisory committee. At the first meeting, select a chair, read section 47 of the water rates from the Creswell City Charter with the adopted methodology, review City of Creswell's water rates and recommend a rate to the city council for the fiscal year 2025. C, with the Water Rate Advisory Committee, review the City of Creswell sewer rates and recommend a rate to the City Council for fiscal year 2025. D, with the Water Rate Advisory Committee, review the City of Creswell transportation utility fee and make a recommendation on the amount of the TUF for 2025. E, each committee member should consider scheduling a tour with the Public Works facility and the water and sewer treatment facilities and road projects currently scheduled to gain further knowledge of these services. And F, review the safe routes to school recommendations on reinstalling the crosswalk on 8th and A and bring a recommendation to the council. The timeline, the chair of the Water Rate Advisory Committee will present the water and sewer rate recommendation and a TUF amount recommendation for the 2025 February council work session. This recommendation will include in a budget preparation and presented to the City Budget Committee in May. A public hearing on the budget, a public hearing on the water and sewer rate recommendations will be held prior to the adoption of the 2025 budget. Complete item F in a timely manner and provide monthly updates at council work session. The appointed chair is Councilor Stacy Holt, Clark Kent, and Mark Kremer, with city support, city manager and director of public works. Number 3, we got public safety. This is the fun one. Charge A, at the first meeting, select a secretary who will keep the minutes of all meetings and submit them to the city recorder. B, review the municipal code as it relates to fireworks and bring any recommendation revisions to the council for consideration. C, meet with Sergeant Speldridge to discuss the date of the National Night Out event and participate in planning this event. D, each committee member should consider a ride along with Sergeant Speldridge or any of his deputies to gain further knowledge of Creswell and their job. A timeline, bring a suggested revision to the city municipal code as it relates to fireworks to the April council work session, provide monthly reports at council work sessions. Appointees and the chair is Councilor Kent. Other councilors are John Morris and Mark Kremer. Staff support is city manager and Lane County Sergeant Alex Beltrich. And then we got members of the council shall not attempt to lobby or influence committee members on any items under consideration. It is important for city advisory bodies to make objective recommendations to the council on items before them. Councilors that attempt to influence committee members on any item may prejudice or hinder their role in reviewing the recommendation as a member of the council. And number 4, Lane Area Commission of Transportation. Good news is, Councilor Kent, you're our guy, with staff support from city planner Curtis Thomas. And then number 5, we have Lane Council of Governments appointee is me, with support staff from Spencer Nibble. We have just a few more committees. So the Water Rate Advisory Committee coincides a little bit with Transportation and Public Works, so some of this might sound redundant, but I want to make sure that we get it all recorded correctly. Charge A, at the first meeting, select a chair and secretary, keep the minutes of all meetings and submit them to the city recorder, read section 47 water rates from the Creswell City Charter, with adopting a methodology, review the city Creswell water rates, recommend a rate to the city council. The same timeline as referred to before. Review city and sewer Creswell sewer rates and recommend a rate to the city council for fiscal year of 2025. Review the city of Creswell transportation utility TUF fee and recommend a recommendation on the amount of that TUF fee. The appointees are Clark Kent, Stacy Holt, and Mark Kramer, and residents at large are Dr. Matthew Bain, Dave Stram, and Shelley Clark, with staff support of the city manager, the finance director, and public works director. Leads us to the Airport Commission. Charge at the first meeting is select a chair and review Chapter 2.35 of the Airport Code. Airport Commission from the City Municipal Code. Chair, Airport Manager Humble serves as a clerk, recording to keep minutes and submit them to the city recorder. B, bring a report to the City Council on accomplishments of 2024 and a work plan for 2025. Continue work at the airport to fulfill the airport vision, enhance services to the airport users, and serve the citizens of Creswell. D, work with staff to post the most current version of the airport vision of the city's website and create a tie-down policy to bring to the council for approval. Review the code 2.35.050, Airport Commission meetings. The timeline, a most current version of the airport vision on the city's website by February 1st if possible.
It's on
She's so far ahead of it. And B, commission chair to bring a report to the city council on accomplishments for 2024 and a work plan for 2025 at the April work session. C, commission chair to bring a recommendation on the tie-down policy and the frequency of the meetings to the April council work session. And D is provide monthly reports at council work sessions. Appointees: Alonzo Castilla, Mike Anderson, Patrick Dotson, and airport users will be Kyle Bushman and Rick Hallman. So the city support staff will be the city manager and airport manager Humble. We'll move on to parks and trees, and we're getting close. Charge A, at the first meeting, select a chair and a secretary to keep all the meeting minutes, submit them to the city recorder. At the first meeting, review chapter 12.20, street, trees, parks, and tree advisory board for the city municipal code and ordinance number 493, creating parks and tree advisory board. C, present a list of all the names that meet the city's naming criteria for the Second Street Park, along with your top recommendations of other parks. Plan the Arbor Day celebration, continue work on signage about birds in Garden Lake Park and the creation of pollinator gardens. Continue work on the placement of the bird and bat houses around Creswell. Timelines, present a list of names and your top recommendations for the Second Street Park. If we haven't done so already, I don't know if some of that's,
I think we've done that.
some of that's pretty much done. And then in January council work session, excuse me again. Provide monthly reports at work session on the Arbor Day celebration. And that charge right now, we are minus a counselor, as you can see, so we're gonna hopefully get one filled in here and get appointed to that. But we have residents of Brent Murphy, Benita Samuels, Stuart Samuels, Peter Osborne, and at large is Riley Newman, Emily Lofton, and staff support would be city manager. And we got the planning commission where we do still have one open spot. We're still accepting applications, hopefully till about the 5th of February, and we can get somebody in there. But the charge for the planning commission, at the first meeting, select a chair, vice president, or vice chair, and a secretary. Keep minutes of all meetings and submit them promptly to the city recorder. Continue work as directed in enhancing ordinances. Residents are Ed Gunderson, Susan Bennett, Ellen Moll, Lisa Benson. At large is Jessica Lanstra, Bill Spencer. Staff support would be city planner Curtis Thomas. And again, we have one spot open, so if anybody's interested, anybody's watching or listening or is interested, please submit an application for the planning commission. They do a lot for the city of Creswell, and they do plan forward, and there's a lot of good things that Creswell can get done with the planning commission, so please look at doing that if you're interested. Next, we have the budget committee. That one's always fun. Charge is to review and approve a budget for the 2025 fiscal year 2025 to be adopted by the city council at the June council meeting. Appointees are Mayor Smith, Councilors Castilla, Holt, Kent, Kramer, and Morris. Residents, Christina Coursey, Robert Jackson, Dave Stram, Shelley Clark, Cameron Burke, Joshua Johnson, Derek Isaacson. Support staff is Budget Officer Piper and City Manager Neville. Timeline, bring any suggested revisions to the city municipal code as it relates to, oops, sorry about that. Let's get that one is good. Okay, now we'll go to Land Area Commission on Transportation, which again, repeat, is Councilor Kent, with staff support from Curtis Thomas.
Did you do the appointees for budget?
Oh, I did, I'll go back down. And number 5 is Lane Council of Governments, which is me, with staff support from Spencer Neville. And the appointees on the budget committee, thank you, apologize, Clark Kent, Joan Morris, Mark Kramer, Nick Smith, Alonzo Castillo, Stacy Holt, City Manager Neville, and Len.
Oh, you may already have.
Yeah. Budget committees, everybody.
I think it's because of this, sorry.
I think that clears the way for our committees and appointments and charges. Go now on 5B, which is city council vacancy. And I have officially resigned my seat. I've accepted the mayor's seat, obviously, but we want to make sure it's recorded. We're going to discuss that further in the agenda. We'll kind of let everybody know what our plan of attack is, but that will be coming. Next, we have our correspondence. Has everybody had a chance to look at the correspondence? Take that as a yes. Then I'll be accepting a motion to accept, I don't think we have any follow-up on that. Correspondence is good. We'll move forward. Consent calendar. We got 5. Number 7. Consent calendar is considered routine unless any items need to be pulled. Has any counselors, has everybody reviewed the consent, or the consent calendar minutes? Does anybody have anything that needs to be pulled for correction? No? All right. I'm looking to accept a motion to approve the consent calendar.
I motion that we approve the consent calendar.
Councilor Holt, do I have a second?
One second.
Councilor Castillo seconds the motion. The consent calendar is approved as is. Oh, sorry. All those in favor to approve the consent calendar as presented? All those opposed, same sign. Consent calendar passes as presented. Now I come to the administration report. I didn't hand it off and quit talking. Manager Level, all yours.
Yeah, I'll give you a little break here. We have a number of things tonight attached to the agenda is the December 24 bills. Are there any questions on any of the bills that have been paid and are listed here in the agenda packet?
Councilor Holt.
Can you tell me what the $154,000-ish payment to Business Oregon supports?
Yeah, that's a bond payment that the city has that we make an annual payment to.
Thank you.
Councilor Kent.
Yes, I usually go through and just check, all the companies and everything. One that I've learned about, which is cool, but I don't know what they're doing for us, is FPW Media. They appear twice in the bills.
Yeah, and I'll have the finance director handle that one. He told me what it was, but he can tell you quicker again what it is. So.
Yeah, that one I had to look up as well.
Oh, you signed, Jim.
I want to say it's with Media. I'll have to get back to you on that one. We actually talked about that today, and I didn't write it in my notes. There are some others that come up as well that hopefully I can answer.
What was the check number on that one?
That one was check number 34870. It's going to the road fund. FBW
We did have it figured out once today, so.
I do have my laptop with me. I can get back to you by the end of the meeting.
Anybody else have any questions? Nope. We'll move on to the sheriff's report then.
We have Sergeant Alex Spellrich here to give a report on the activity within the city for this last month. So we'll have Sergeant Spelnich come forward.
Hello, everyone. December was very similar to November, which is good. There aren't any noteworthy trends necessarily. I do have some news to share with the Sheriff's Office. So Deputy Stephen Beeler was assigned down here for about 2.5 years, and he has transitioned out of the Creswell contract. He is now back in main office patrol. And so you'll see a new deputy in town. Deputy Jared Davis is now assigned down here. He's a Creswell native. A lot of people know him already because of that. And he is here in Creswell now, and I am excited to have him. I'm sad to see Deputy Bueller go, but Deputy Davis is, he's quite the guy. So if you ever see him, give him a wave. You may have also noticed kind of a group of deputies cycling through Creswell in the last month, especially during the day shift hours. Deputy Brooks was assigned to main office patrol for the last month, training a new lateral hire we had from Virginia. And so in order for him to be able to do that, he was transitioned out of Creswell to main office patrol, and we backfilled him with main office patrol during that time. So there was still a deputy assigned in Creswell, it just wasn't one of our normal Creswell deputies. So you may have seen that. Today marks 11 years as a deputy for me, and I'm now not the brand new fresh guy. I'm now kind of the salty Sarge who's, you know, maybe a little less hair and a lot more stress. But I'm coming up on my 2 years in Creswell, and I had told you, the council, when I came to Creswell, that I would give you an update on my position as we came to the end of my contract, basically. I have no intention of leaving Creswell. I've decided that this is where I want to stay, at least for the time being. As different opportunities open up, that may change, but for now, I don't have a timeline on when I may want to leave Creswell. Nobody's run me out of town yet, or tried to burn down my vehicle or me or anything like that. So I intend to stay for the foreseeable future. There's been a lot of change in the city in the last year, and I want to stay as kind of one of those solid things that stays in one spot. So sorry, but you guys are stuck with me for at least a little while longer. So moving to the calls for service, you'll see that it's pretty much, if you look at the numbers are very similar to November. We had 2 calls for service more in December than we did in November. There's not really any noteworthy trends other than we had 2 Honda Civics stolen in the same week in Creswell. Both of those vehicles have been recovered together. They were recovered together, and we're working on a suspect for that. It's going to be an ongoing case. It's going to take some time, but those vehicles were recovered and returned. So that's the good news. You'll see that there were 3 different Measure 11 calls. 2 of those were the same. It was just double reported, and that's a historic sex crime with a known suspect. We've talked about this in the past, that these do come up where somebody comes forward and says, this thing happened to me. That's what this was. And then the other one was an online crime involving a child, which is unfortunately way more common than I'd like it to be. The only other thing really of note is in December, all City Hall staff, I'm a verbal de-escalation instructor for the Sheriff's Office, and so I got the opportunity to provide them with verbal de-escalation training. It was a 4-hour training. It was very long for them, so I'm sorry, everybody. But I was able to do that, and that was kind of cool to be able to kind of give back to this community because I'm not from here. So they welcomed me, and I was able to finally give something back a little bit, so the city itself. So other than that, I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Councilors, any questions? Councilor Castillo?
Not so much as a question, just an observation. One of the trends that I do see is, I think it's 3 months in a row now where we see 0 speeding citations.
Yeah.
And which we were just reminded just a while ago that there's still, and a lot of people see it. I hear about it all the time. So appreciate you guys so much and what you guys do, and I am so glad to hear that we are stuck with you. I really, really am. Well, I just encourage you and your men to look for them speeders.
Yeah, and so I think I commented either last month or the month before that sometimes it's about being in the right place at the right time. And if you were to go into my office, you'd see that there's already several that have been issued just in January, and we're only in week 2. It's a matter of finding it and being in the right place at the right time. And we've had a lot of calls that required pretty extensive follow-up in the last couple months, and that takes away from our time to actually actively patrol. Unfortunately, we have been spending either a lot of time following up on these calls as they come or typing reports about these calls. And so my hope is that we can get out and do more traffic enforcement. That's something that I have noticed in the last couple months that we've been, we're obviously not looking for a number, right? But we've been able to spend less time out doing traffic enforcement.
Thank you, sir.
Anybody else? I got one. Would it be appropriate, what Ryan had mentioned earlier is looking at A Street and Meadow Lane, is that appropriate to kind of put that on the books of keeping an eye on? Is there a certain time, Ryan, that?
Generally, it's like all times of the day. When I worked swing shift, I was mainly home till about 1:30 in the afternoon. I watched the lunch hour kids leave high school, race down 10th Street all the time. And in the mornings, parents are racing towards the elementary school for the drop-off line. Same with pickup line. And then recently, recently, I've been watching a lot of people around East 9 o'clock. Going from straight through. Like literally no attempts of stopping at all, just right through it.
Yeah. I'm sure you're probably aware of that already. I mean, some of those times and streets are, I think all of us councils are a little bit familiar with people reporting those times.
Yeah, and generally we try to be in the school zones in the mornings and we try to rotate through which school zone we're in. That's not an intersection that has been brought up as a problem intersection in some time. The last complaint I received about that intersection was from Mr. LaRue, and that was probably a year or so ago when we spoke. And so I'm happy to focus on that again. As I've always said, the more information I can arm our guys with, the better, and we can try to be in the right places.
Thanks, sir. And I too am also happy that you're staying. And what you're saying is nobody's got anything on Creswell, right? That's where you're not living. Can't be beat.
It's a pretty cool place to work.
Glad to hear it. I'm glad you're staying. Councilor Hart?
I just want to tell you that I recognize that, I think we all recognize that you run a pretty lean staff here. And so I understand how when other calls take your time, that can make just doing basic traffic control difficult. So we appreciate your efforts. Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Anyone else? We're good?
I just encourage new counselors, come on a ride along. I'd love to have you. Get to learn some weird stuff, that's for sure.
I really enjoyed it when I did. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Arthur.
Next, we have the report from the city attorney that's been attached for your review. If there's any questions on that, I can try to answer them. Pretty straightforward stuff there. Also attached is the code enforcement report. If there's any questions on that, I can get an answer back to you on that. Again, does a nice job of illustrating the before and after on the complaints that she's addressed. So. Also then attaches a building permit recap report. Again, we've had a little bit of discussion about maybe changing the format of that report to make it a little more readable, but that's something that we may try to experiment a little bit with and bring a little different format coming forward in the future, unless people are really married to this format. So, and then the last thing on here is a report on transitional issues, and there is a report that I prepared in your packet on this, and I'd like to take a few minutes just to talk a little bit about this process. First of all, it's been truly a pleasure for me to be hired by the council to serve as interim city manager here in Creswell. I have really enjoyed working with the staff. I think you've got a very talented staff in this community. You're a very lean organization in the number of staff members you have for the population, and I think folks really are working hard to meet the needs and and services for the people of Creswell. So that's something I think that's really going well here for the community. One of the things that I've done is I've sat down with various members of staff and the council members, both the existing or the previous council and the new council members, to kind of go through and do a evaluation of what you think is working, what you think could be improved, and I'm going to prepare a detailed report on that for the work session that we have in January, just to kind of get the flavor of what kind of the collaborative statements and the types of statements that were made through the course of that process. I think it was a really beneficial thing for me to do that. I think the results will be helpful to kind of understand how y'all feel as a group. Things are moving forward in Creswell and some of the areas that you might want to focus on going forward in the future. So appreciate y'all spending an hour of time or so with me on that. On the transition itself, one of the key things that is going to be critically important in the next few months is really hiring a new city manager. Not that I wouldn't love to stay in Creswell for a long time, but my contract does run out, and summer's coming, and I'll be happy to be in Newport during the summertime. But I think from the standpoint of going forward, I think it's been really good that you've waited until you have the new council seated to start this process, because this is a council that will be working for the first 2 years with the manager that you hire going forward. So I think timing-wise, I think that's working out just fine. There's again a number of legal aspects that have to be addressed, and I'll talk about that in a little more detail at the work session coming up. Again, the primary question I have for the council at this point is again, whether you want to do a search utilizing in-house staff, or whether there's an interest in hiring an outside headhunter type organization to assist with the recruitment. In reviewing the situation and having discussions with a lot of you about this issue, I think we've got the capacity to deal with this as an internal search if that's a desire of the council, but either pathway is fine. And so just want to talk about some of the kind of the traditional parts of this process, so that when we come back to that question, you can give some direction. And if we can get some direction tonight on that question, then that'll help prepare me, or help me prepare you for the work session coming up at the end of January. But typically, with the search process, one of the key things is really identifying a job profile for the person that you want to serve as your next city manager. And that, again, it's a collective process. There's 6 council members right now, but soon to be 7. And those council members really need to weigh into, what kind of qualities are you looking for in this position. That profile is then put out and as part of a job announcement, and then people can kind of match up. You've got some big projects coming up. You've got a wastewater issue that's a huge issue that's going to need to be addressed. You've got other specific issues, and it's important for a person stepping into this job to have an idea of what you're looking for. The other thing that's currently the way the city is structured is the city manager is also the human resources director for the city. So you need to have someone, if you're going to keep that same structure, you need to have someone that's got that HR background as well. And HR is certainly an area that's got a lot of potential liability to it if you aren't doing things correctly. You want to make sure that that's going strong as well. So anyway, the profile would really identify what those profiles are. One of the things that we can talk about again at the work session is again, how much community involvement do you want to help inform the council on what qualities do you want in this next manager. This can take the form of doing a survey. and allowing people to respond back to a survey to provide some input to the council about some of the qualities that you're looking at. I think, again, the city manager works for the council, but also is a very important part of the community as a whole, and kind of giving an opportunity for some of that feedback, I think, has some value to it. Once there's a consensus on the job profile and hiring process, then you'll be asked to adopt a resolution that identifies that to make the process consistent with Oregon law. So those are some of the key issues that we would need to move forward with initially, and we'll talk about these steps and decide exactly what components you want part of this. If you choose not to have some of these components part of this, that's certainly something that you as a council can talk about as well. But the question for me tonight is there consensus of whether you want to do an internal search or whether you want to use a consultant for that search, and whatever the consensus is of the group, then I'll bring a detailed report to you at the January work session to kind of work through these very specific issues of how you're going to proceed.
Would you like us to discuss that right now?
Sure.
Councilors, any thoughts on that? Councilor Holt?
I would love to see us save the city of Creswell a little bit of money and maybe initiate opening up applications for 30 days and see what comes up. I think that we have a very capable staff and council, and I think we can do this. And so I would like to see what kind of interest we can drum up just on our own to start with. That's just my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Horton. Anybody else have an opinion or thoughts? Yes. Councilor Kramer?
So I believe like Creswell is a highly desirable city to work for, and I think it will be easy to get some people that can be very well qualified for this position. I feel with everybody's input, we can make Creswell and the city manager great again. So I think, not that it wasn't before, but we need to keep this going. We need a good person, a Creswell person to be there. So I think we have all the intentions, and I think we have all the capabilities of doing that.
Just to be clear, Councilor Kramer, you're voting for doing an internal 30-day search? Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Councilor Morris?
I vote to do it internally as well. I think we're perfectly capable of doing that.
Excellent. All right, I'll go. I agree. I think we can do it internally. I think we've had, I've had people reach out. I'm sure all of you have had people reach out and ask about the job. And I think I would like to save us the money and see if we can come up with a good group of applicants that could fulfill the position. And if that group is not up to par and the council agrees that maybe we need to stretch it further, then we can. But I think ultimately we should probably go internally first and then see what that provides. And if that generates the excitement that we're looking for, then great, we save the money and we found somebody a little bit more personally than having a headhunter or an online service or something like that. So that's where I'm at as well. Anybody else? Okay, I think you have your answer, sir.
I will have a detailed report about the components of it that will go through on January 27th, and we'll get this process rolling.
Excellent. All right. Well, I think that moves us to the next item. We have council action items. We have Resolution 2025-01, a resolution appropriating expenditures within the Sewer Capital Improvement Reserve Fund. Finance Director Piper, please.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor, City Councilors. The item you have before you is a resolution to amend the fiscal year 2024-25 budget. It appropriates expenditures within the Sewer Capital Improvement Reserve Fund. The City of Creswell performed some TV scoping as part of the MOA that we have with the DEQ to permit wastewater treatment system. The results of TV scoping of the sewer collection system for 2nd Street between Oregon Avenue and F Street showed several deficiencies that must be repaired under the MOA. The repairs will be required prior to the construction of South 2nd Street. Those transportation improvements are slated to occur in the summer of 2025. And due to circumstances noted above and that were beyond the control of the city, budgeting for this was unforeseen when planning the annual budget. The project will use capital improvement reserve funds, fund balance reserved for future expenditures to fund the project. So these are things that we've been saving for capital improvement projects. Staff recommends adopting Resolution 2025-01. Cliff Blue's here, our Public Works Director, if you have any questions about the TV scoping and the results. Yeah, any questions from the council?
I think at this point, we should go to the public hearing, and then questions can be asked after that, so.
Yes, thank you.
We open up for 1 minute.
We'll go to the public hearing. We'll open up the time for 1 minute. If anybody would like to come forward and has any suggestions or any comments on public, no, if you want to come up, I think you just come to the podium, state your name and your address, and comment freely. Clock starts now.
Mommy, I'll get the mommy too.
Sorry, yes, that's
Good things to say.
I read it twice. It's you. I thought it was my paperwork, sorry. It's you.
Oh, mommy, yes, mommy, no.
You gotta be coherent, we can't understand.
She has a lot to say.
Everything's great here, yeah.
At least somebody commented.
Thank you all for your work.
That's it, the public hearing. Jim?
All right, yeah, a little foreshadowing later, there'll be a bid award in the council packet related to this item. But first, we need to amend the budget. We need a supplemental budget. So I'm asking councilors to ask any questions at this point.
Councilors, questions, comments? Councilor Holt?
It looks like it's gonna be perhaps an expensive repair. Yeah, I mean, this was out of your control. I'm not sure there's really anything I want to ask other than just highlighting that this is definitely going to make a dent in our coffers, so.
Yeah, the DQ outlined the TV scoping project in the downtown core as being the older infrastructure in town, so we're expecting some issues.
Okay, thank you.
Any other councilors have comments or questions? Alrighty, if there's no other questions, entertaining a motion. Councilor Holt?
I move that the City Council approve Resolution 2025-01, a resolution appropriating expenditures within the Sewer Capital Improvement Reserve Fund.
Do I have a second? Councilor Holt, seconds the motion. All those in favor, please raise your hand. All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. We'll go to the next one. Adoption of Ordinance 564, Curtis Thomas.
Thank you. So staff recommends approval of ordinance 564 to annex in the site of the city's water reservoirs. And so for the past, to give new councilors some background, over the past 4 years, your public work staff and planning staff. We've received over $2.3 million of resiliency awards to improve our water system's seismic resiliency. And about $400,000 of that is dedicated to our water tanks. And so in order to do the work, we have to pool building permits. By annexing the property, it means that the building permits go through the city's review process, and it just allows us to be a lot more efficient and kind of stay on a timeline. And so the property, it's within the city's urban growth boundary, which means that it is within the 20-year planning horizon to be annexed into the city. And then upon annexation, it takes on the city's zoning designation, and the zoning for the site is parks, recreation, open space, and utilities required for economic prosperity, fire life, and safety are in allowed use within the zoning. And that's it.
Thanks, sir. We'll open this up for a public hearing as well. We're going to have 1 minute for comments and questions. Pending the use of technology. And here we go.
Daddy, that's
Do we come up to ask questions?
You can just come to the podium.
Elizabeth Smith, 77 Higgins Court. I'm just wondering when you say annex in, what's that gonna entail? Will that decrease our water fees or?
Daddy,
explain a little bit what that would mean, or what that would mean to us as citizens, as taxpayers and water bill payers? Thank you.
I think you should wait until the hearing is closed before we have discussions.
Mommy, now what's that? Don't eat it. The tea, don't eat it.
That's a great question.
Mommy, Daddy, okay. Now what's the?
All right, that's ending the public hearing. First, we come back up, please. Jim.
All right.
You're going to tag team this, all right?
Yes.
Let's do it.
Chris asked me to come up and answer this, since it deals with cost and budget.
Okay.
Great question. With the grants that we're receiving on the water side of things, we don't have the pedal down, so to speak, to save up for those future capital projects like we would. And this should help when we come together and talk about water rate for the coming fiscal year. In other words, it won't put as much pressure on us to raise rates. I don't know that it'll decrease rates, but it'll definitely hold rates steady for a bit. We're like Planner Thomas said, that it's about 2.3 million in capital that we won't have to save up for. So this is a great windfall for the city.
Thank you.
Counselors, any comments, questions?
Okay, Dad. Okay.
Counselor Brennan?
Yeah, can you just elaborate on like the benefits of what's gonna happen with us annexing this into the city limits?
So the water tanks, they aren't anchored to the foundation, and so if there were a seismic event, hopefully not, there's risk that the city could lose access to the water supply for 2 weeks to a month. It's really difficult to predict. And not only does that mean that citizens will lose drinking water, but it means that we'll also lose our fire suppression. So if there's any electrical poles that fall down and fires happen, we'll lose our ability to fight fires. So the project is intended to just improve our chances to repair the system within 1 to 2 days compared to 2 to 4 weeks. And so the annexation is part of this project because we received money from FEMA and Oregon Office of Emergency Management, and there's a timeline where we have to spend the money and kind of perform quarterly updates. And right now, our structural permit review would have to go through the county's building process because it's in the county's jurisdiction. And the county, they're a large jurisdiction, they have a lot on their plate, and the city is much smaller, we're a lot more efficient. And so by annexing the property, the main thing is just, it's more efficient of a process for staff.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Use it or lose it type of deal. Anyone else? Councilor Castillo?
Yeah, sure, no, I would just agree that it makes so much sense to annex those our water tanks, they need to be within in the city limits. And it was definitely is going to ease the permitting process. So that's a big plus. So thanks.
Any other councilors, comments, or questions? No. All right, and I'm asking for a motion. Councilor Kent?
I move, there we go. I move that the city council adopt ordinance number 564, an ordinance approving the annexation of a certain territory known as tax lot 2700 and 2701, assessors map 19-03-14-33, to the city of Creswell, and zoning at parks, recreation, and open space.
Thank you, Councilor Kent. Do I have a second? Councilor Castillo seconds.
Point of order, I just want to ask a point of clarification. Is this something that has to be read twice?
That's a good question, because it is actually an ordinance, isn't it?
It is it?
Yeah,
it is.
ordinance 564.
Yeah, it's not an ordinance that gets codified, but it is still an ordinance, so I think that's a good catch.
Councilor Holt to read it
So
again.
you'll just need to read the.
Councilor Kent, read it again, please.
Oh, sure. Okay. Oops, there we go. I move that the city council adopt ordinance number 564, an ordinance approving the annexation of a certain territory known as tax lot 2700 and 2701, assessors map 19-03-14-33, to the city of Creswell, and zoning at parks, recreation, and open space.
Okay.
Now I can look for a second. Councilor Castillo seconds it. Any further discussion? No? Councilor Kent?
Thank you, Councilor Holt.
All right, if there's no further discussion, all those in favor, please raise your hand. All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously.
Okay.
All right, and that leads us to 9C on the agenda, Oregon Parks and Recreation Department, Local Governments Grant Acceptance. Mr. Jim Pepper.
Thank you. This item before you councilors is the grant to put in restrooms at 2nd Street, or rather around Hughes Park on 2nd Street. The grant was officially awarded and the contract was sent to the city. What we're authorizing, or what we're asking is that the city council authorize the city manager, Nebel, to sign all documents related to this grant. The project's going to cost about $283,000, and the grant is going to pay for $169,200 of it. So we just ask again that the council authorize the city manager, interim city manager, able to sign all grant paperwork.
Thank you, sir. Any questions or comments, councilors?
How much was the, sorry,
Councilor Castillo?
what was the amount that the grant is going to pay for?
Of the $283,000, the grant is going to pay for $169,200.
Oh, do I have?
I have 113.
Yeah, 40.21% or 113,800.
That is the city's match requirement. I'm sorry. So the grant will pay for $169,200. The city is responsible for $113,800. They want to see the city put some money forward, and so we offered to meet them roughly a 60-40 split of the total project cost.
Okay, so that's the balance would be, okay, thank you.
Any further comments or questions?
Okay.
Councilor Castillo?
Let's get those bathrooms built.
Work's not good without a bathroom, man. I'm behind this. All right, I'm entertaining a motion.
Thank you.
Councilor Castillo.
I move that the city council authorize interim city manager Spencer Neville to complete the necessary grant paperwork to accept the Oregon Parks and Recreation Department Local Government grant LG 24-044.
Do I have a second? Counselor Holt seconds the motion. Any further discussion?
Okay.
I would just like to say thank you to whoever wrote this grant. Are they here? Angela, kudos. Ours are no good without bathrooms, so thank you. And it's not free money, but it's our money, and might as well come to Creswell rather than anybody else. Because as Alex said earlier, Creswell's the best, so why not? All right, so all those in favor, please raise your hand. All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. Now we're on to 9D, awarding bid for Second Street sewer improvements.
Hey, Mommy, I took it on the popcorn. Okay. Mommy, that's the Kelly Cody.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Before we get going on this, I think I may have an answer to a question that was asked earlier during bills about FPW Media.
Yes.
I think Councilor Clark asked that. They're a clothing and screen printing business. They do embroidery and screen printing for city issued clothing. So you can see right here, that's what that is. So I think that may help your question there.
Thanks, Cliff.
Yeah. For this item, the item before you is to receive approval to enter into a contract with Windrose Excavation for the sewer work on 2nd Street. The council gave staff direction at a work session, I think it was a couple months ago, to proceed with option 1 out of the 2 that was presented to them. So having that direction, we moved forward with the project. We conducted TV scoping of the sewer collection system. In doing that, it's been determined that there are quite a few areas within the scope of work that need repaired. So that repair work is going to be slip lining, would be lining in place. That's the most economical. We need to assure that those utilities are in good shape before we put a new roadway on top of them. We wouldn't want to come back and do damage to a new road and make repairs to a utility that needed fixed. It also starts work on the collection system that's required by DEQ, that's issued in our MIO. I think at least all the older councilors are aware of that work that needs done. The new ones will be made aware, I'm sure. Worked with West Tech, our engineers. We determined that it would be more cost effective to break out the sewer portion of the project and have an actual sewer contractor come in and do that work instead of having it done by a street contractor that would sub it out. So we feel like we'll get a cost savings by doing that. And we also will get the project done quicker because we'll get the sewer portion of it done, which will allow the street contractor to come in and get to work as soon as construction season gets here with weather. So we think we'll have a cost savings, and also we'll bump the project timeline up. So it's before you tonight to enter into a contract with Windrose Excavation, and I can take questions if there are any.
Councilors, any questions? Comments?
Mommy, I bought some tacos.
All right. Well, then I'm entertaining a motion if there's no questions for Cliff.
Thank you.
Thanks, Cliff.
Thank you.
Councilor Holt.
I move that the city council approve the interim city manager Spencer Nebel to enter into a contract with Windrose Excavation LLC for 2nd Street sewer improvement work in the amount of $243,585.41 plus 15% contingency of $37,000 for a total of $280,585.41.
That was a mouthful. Do I have a second? Councilor Kent seconds the motion. Any further discussion, comments, questions? No? All right, all those in favor, please raise your hand. All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. Continue, Cliff. All right, now we're on to 9E and declaration of council vacancy. I'm going to hand that over to Spencer.
Sure. As you know,
Mayor Smith is no longer Councilor Smith, so we have a councilor vacancy that has to be filled. And so in discussing it with the mayor, I think it's important to do this in a fairly quick timeline with the search process going to be to get that started for the new city manager. And so recommending that we have a application period through February 5th, and then the council could interview and make a decision at the February 10th city council meeting. So if council's comfortable with that motion, there's a suggested motion. Council wants to do something else, they can do that. The charter and council rules don't really define a way on filling these vacancies, though traditionally they've been advertised, interviews have been conducted, and the candidate selected by the majority of the council.
Councilors, any questions, comments? Do I have your consent? Happy?
Oh, well, that's
All right.
I think it should actually be a motion to.
I can
Yeah.
make the motion if you want.
Looking for a motion? Councilor Holt.
I move that the city council accept the resignation of Councilor Nick Smith, declare a vacancy on the city council, and direct the city manager to advertise the vacancy with applications being due on February 5th, 2025, and interviews and possible appointment occurring at the February 10th, 2025 city council meeting.
Have a second? Councilor Moore seconds the motion. Any further discussion or questions, comments? Councilor Kent?
So why did you decide not to do double duty?
I didn't want to show off.
Have a second.
All right. If there's no further discussion or any more fun comments, all those in favor, please raise your hand. All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Please continue, Spencer. Thank you.
I think we've arrived to the end of the.
Number 10 is upcoming meetings, and I would like to just say it out loud and on record that please visit the city website. It's very easy to find, and if you click calendars, it says the date and the time where we are at, where city staff is at, where councils are at, mayor's at. It might tell you where, everything you need to know. It is right on there. We're trying to put it out there as much as possible so that there is complete transparency and we're not trying to hide anything or sneak it through. So we want your opinions and what your thoughts, so please look at the calendar, please join in on any fun that you want to be had, because everybody's welcome. So with that, we are adjourned.
I would like to say thank you so much. 2-page agenda and an hour and a half. Fantastic. Boss.
What do you think about February 5th? Thank you, yes. I will grab something from you. I can actually grab that now.
We'll get an email.